Hello everybody. Thank you for taking the time to watch our presentation on the points and counterpoints of why everybody wants power. In today's rapidly growing economy, everyone wants power. But what exactly is power? Power is defined as the capacity that A has to influence the behavior of B, so that B acts in accordance with A's wishes. Further, we all want power because it gives us more control over our own lives by allowing us more freedom to do as we wish. Throughout this presentation, viewers will be informed on the point of powers, including formal versus personal power, dependence, and influence tactics. In contrast, the counterpoints will address why power is not essential to everybody, while touching on topics such as the ability to lead, concern over repercussions, and what attributes employees prefer to power. Overall, readers will develop an understanding on how human behavior impacts the operations of a business, if everyone does indeed want power. First and foremost, people want to have formal power as it is based on individuals' positions within an organization. In fact, formal power can be developed from the ability to cohere, reward, or from a formal authority. As a matter of fact, every 3 different types of formal power are critical to understand why people would want to have power. For instance, coercive power is based on the fear of negative results. Therefore, individuals are driven to put out their best work at all times. Likewise, reward power achieves compliance based on being able to distribute rewards for valuable work. Again, individuals want to put their best work into their jobs to achieve the highest reward. In addition, wanting power can be much like jealousy, as people would not admit to wanting power. The final type of formal power is legitimate power, which is a person perceived as a result of his or her position in a formal hierarchy of the organization. On the other hand, personal power comes from an individual's unique characteristics. As well, personal power enhancements relies on an organization's to a certain extent. Further, an individual may find difficulty in gaining personal power if they do not exhibit enough characteristics of formal power. As a matter of fact, personal power is broken down into 2 powers, expert and referent. Indeed, expert power is an influence based on special skills or knowledge. In today's society, more jobs are becoming specialized and not as general as they have been in previous decades. Therefore, organizations are becoming dependent on experts to achieve business goals. Alternately, referent power is influence based on position by an individual or desirable resource or personal traits. The best way to think of referent power is if you are liked or admired and respected, then you can exercise power over others as they are trying to please you. Along with power comes dependence. Overall, dependence is increased when a resource controlled is important, scarce, and cannot be substituted. Specifically, regarding the importance, it is critical because in order to create dependence in an item, it must be perceived as important. Similarly, the resource must have scarcity to be dependent. Moreover, the most basic economic problem is the gap between scarcity. Further, as consumers, we have unlimited wants, but our economy cannot fulfill all the wants as we have limited resources. Additionally, an example of scarcity is the basic economic dilemma, which is in the teaching industry. As a matter of fact, many individuals hold an English teaching degree in Canada. However, there is a limited number of teaching positions. Overall, the bargaining power of financial facilities allow them to negotiate higher salaries, lighter teaching loads, and a wide variety of other benefits. Not to mention, the third and final element of dependence within power is non-substitutability. In all honesty, a few substitutes there are for a resource, the more power the person controlling that resource has. Therefore, if a company is a monopoly, they have the highest power above the government, since they are the only ones in the market. By way of example, Harvard psychologist David McClellan became famous for his studies on underlying motives. In fact, everyone is motivated by money and power. However, McClellan measures an individual motivation for power based on how they described a handful of images. Not to mention, the test consists of 30 ambiguous images. The individual completing the test must create a story around each picture. Overall, the test assesses how the individual relates socially as well as emotionally to other people, the structure of the relationship, and how they perceive power in social structures. Alternately, depending on the type of influence, upward, downward, or lateral, will result in different influence tactics. For example, in an upward influence, the most popular tactic is rational percussion, which is defined as person A uses logical arguments and factual evidence to persuade person B that a proposal or request is visible and likely to result in a task objective. Moreover, rational percussions is a result of an upward influence since employees are trying to convince their superiors. Also, pressure is an example of downward influence tactics. Further, pressure is when person A uses demands, threats, or intimidation to convince person B to comply with a request or to support a proposal. Likewise, pressure is used in a downward management because tasks are delivered from the top to bottom, and the frontline workers feel the pressure to perform at 100% all the time. Finally, an example of lateral influence is personal appeals. In addition, personal appeals occur when person A appeals to person B's feelings before asking person B to do something. Overall, in lateral influence, there is no obligation to please different levels. Everyone is treated the same. When discussing any counterpoints, it is key to acknowledge and understand the arguments surrounding the point. Based on the point, it is understood that power brings with a sense of control, which is an attribute to all employees chase. This portion will argue the counterpoints, and in doing so, we will cover why all employees do not convert power. Some individuals do not possess the traits to wield power, while some are concerned with repercussions and others place attributes such as respect above power. The term natural-born leader is often one that is used when describing those who are able to lead effectively and effortlessly, whether it is in business or politics. While this figure of speech is not a rule, leaders can more certainly be developed. There are certain attributes that many either do not possess or do not take high in regards. In a research paper written by the American Management Association, 5 main attributes associated with power are decisiveness, results-driven, persuasiveness, courageous, and inspirational. The truth of the matter is that most people simply do not find value in the above traits as it pertains to their roles, unless you are in management. Therein lies the difference between those who desire power and establish themselves in management roles, and those who are more inclined to shy away from power and remain under the radar while completing their tasks. In addition, certain characteristics such as persuasiveness and inspiration can take years to hone and develop. And in a world where earning a livable wage is top priority, many employees do not see the need to develop these skills if not necessary. Alternately, for those who lead and desire power, those traits are very high a priority, and thus they may have spent years developing them at previous jobs or even through their personal interactions. With power comes responsibility. For those who are under the trilogy, as a result, responsibility for others can lead to serious repercussions for whoever may be in a position of power. We often see these positions of power in the sports world, using as scapegoats when the teams underperform. While the general public is not privy of anything that happens behind closed doors, one can assume that it is easily to reveal a single person and replace them, then it is completely replacing an entire team or workforce. Thus, a person in a position of power are often reliant on the team to perform adequately in order to retain your job. In an article written by Dr. Mark Van Vert, he describes this scenario, detailing that those in power can be subject to the shortcomings of his or her staff or team that's surrounding them. The article also describes that the pursuit of power can lead to selfishness, overconfidence, and even a potential link to early morality. Speaking on that subject, Van Vert connects power to heightened testosterone levels, stating, medical research finds that men with higher levels of testosterone lead more risky lifestyles, being more prone to accidents and injuries, alcohol dependence, and smoking. It is clear that there are risks associated with those who are in positions of power. Risking your job, mental health, and even life can be a byproduct of the pursuit of power. While being in control and having power and authority over those is a goal for some, earning respect is the driving force for most. Employees are always working to earn respect from peers and management, not to maintain a role of authority over them. Respect is not easy to earn and does not come with the downfalls that mentioned previously that are associated with achieving and maintaining power. Well-respected employees often earn the trust of those in management positions and have the benefit of being in good stead with a company without the risk. A recent article details what it takes to earn respect from colleagues, citing the ability of employees who follow the rules, work hard, admit mistakes, and take criticism well. These are all attributes that a well-rounded employee portray on a given day. Unlike the chase of power, earning respect does not necessitate the need for employees to go above and beyond. Just performance or core competencies vary well, while responding professionally to those in positions of power. For most employees who despise confrontation and who use a bi-weekly paycheck, earning respect is much preferred over fighting or power. When analyzing an open-ended statement such as everyone wants power, there is a lot to be left for interpretation. This research presentation has presented an argument from both sides of the statement, which has been met with a consensus. Not everyone wants or desires power in the workplace. While wielding power is correlated to control and oftentimes personal gains and achievements in the workplace, the research shows that it is not a top priority for employees. What employees value more than power is stability and being able to earn the respect of their peers and superiors, neither of which require the presence of power. Additionally, those in power are often the ones who take blames for unfulfilled promises, thus putting stability into question. To conclude, while power is most certainly a priority for some, it is not the desire for most in the business world. As our references are being displayed across the screen, I would like to take the time to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to view our presentation. I hope you have learned a little bit about power and why everyone necessarily does not want power in the workplace. Understanding the points and counterpoints of why everybody wants power is critical to understand in the business world. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.